Hello, hi guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Stamping A to Z. I'm Linda Gibbs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. Stamping A to Z is my weekly live that I do every Wednesday at noon Mountain Time. And I called it Stamping A to Z, and I started it to kind of go through all of the products that are available with Stampin' Up! And how to use them and different fun ways to use them, so that I love to play with techniques and just get creative. So I have lots and lots of videos to go through if you're ever looking for something to do with stuff that you have. So today is our 100th episode. Crazy. I can't believe this is number 100. So today's a little bit special. Not too special, didn't go crazy, but I did think that I am allowed to send cards anywhere in the world. I'm not allowed to give away stuff outside of Canada, so I thought if you're watching, let me know you're watching, share this with your friends. I just want to show you my thanks for watching all this time, and I'm going to do a draw if I can at the end. If not, I'll do it right after, and I will send one of each of three different people, one card each of the cards I make today. So just as a little thank you, and my 100th episode, I had to do something different. For those of you that know, I have been taking part in a challenge from another demonstrator in the UK. It's the 30-day Christmas card making challenge. So I'm on day 16 today. I've actually made it every single day. So far I have 16 cards. The last 3 days I have incorporated shimmery backgrounds into them, and so that's what I'm going to show you today. So you might have already seen my cards posted. I'm just going to show you how to actually make them with that shimmery background. And yeah, so that's going to be fun. And then, before I forget, hopefully you guys have taken advantage of our sale that's on. It started yesterday and goes till the 18th. It's called our seasonal sale. So if you go on my store, you can go into specials and then it'll say seasonal sale, I think, seasonal something. There's 10% off all stamps, 15% off all, no, I take that back. 10% off all punches, 15% off all stamps, 20% off all dies, embossing folders, and like the regular special, not the specialty series design, regular designer series paper, the one that's usually like $16.50, it's down to $13 something. Anyways, it's all listed there. It'll come up and it'll show you what's on sale. So that's all the stuff out of the annual catalog. And I just realized I forgot to make sure my volume was on. Sorry about that. Hopefully you could hear that. Anyways, yeah, the seasonal sale, it's the annual catalog, not out of the mini catalog. Our clearance or retirement list just came out for demonstrators. It will go live December 1st, I believe, is when the mini catalog will be having some discounts and stuff. But for now, it's the annual catalog. It's a really great sale. I took advantage of it. Hopefully you will too. You'll see me making projects as soon as I cut my stuff. Yeah, anyways, so let's get started and I will show you the projects for today after I flip you around. Okay, oopsie. My holder is not set up properly. Must have used it for something else. Okay, why are we all crooked here? There we go. Okay, let me pull up. so I can hopefully see comments. This thing doesn't always show me the comments. Let's see if I can get it. It's not coming up. I don't know. Why? Okay, here we go. Got it. All right, say hi if you're here. Love to hear from you. I like to not craft alone. It's okay if I am, but you know, I'm good at talking to myself. So, my shimmery backgrounds. I started out using some really old shimmery powder that I had in my stash. It is no longer available. So I said to myself that I need to make sure that you guys can do this using something that we have, so that if you're new to this or you don't have the powder, maybe you have the pearlescent specialty paper. So I'm going to show you the technique using this paper as well as using the powder with some different cards, so you'll be able to see. So if you have either or of those, you can do it. If you really love it and you don't have either of those, at least you can get the specialty paper and be able to recreate that same kind of look. So it comes with two 12 by 12 sheets. You can see mine's well used. They're only $5.50, so it's a pretty good, I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not uber expensive either. So that's the specialty, the pearlescent specialty paper. So for my first card, I'm going to be using the paper, which is this. So you can see it's got that pearly stuff. Now, the one thing to note with this is it does not absorb ink well. It kind of sits on the top. It's got kind of a glossy, not glossy, but the pearly finish. So using the blends that are alcohol based are much less messy. So messy alert here. If you don't like messes, you don't have to be very careful with this one. It's very messy, whether you use the powder or the paper, it's messy. If you use the blends are probably the least messy, but what happens with the blends is it kind of, I tried it here, it does okay, but it kind of separates and doesn't give you a nice solid look, and you can kind of see the lines and stuff. So I didn't love that. The nice thing with the blends though is it doesn't come off. Sorry, that finger's red from before. It was my fingers are a little, so you can see it's a little messy. You should have seen my fingers the other day when I can't remember which one I think it was this one I was working on, and I had red everywhere because I was trying to figure out how best to do this. So anyways, I'm gonna try and show you the easiest, least messy way to do this. And so this card was from yesterday. It's called Finished with a Bow. And so I wanted to have a big bow on the top of my card. So I thought present, seeing as it's Christmas. These are Christmas cards we're supposed to be doing. I have this, it's just Post-it note tape. So I'm gonna try and line this up so I have it centered. And then I can just, I know it'll be fairly straight. I liked the size of this. If you only have Post-it notes, you can use your Post-it notes and just cut strips. If you have our masking paper, oh, I didn't center it this way. So I have 1, 2, so I have to go down here probably. Oh, shh. Okay. We're just approximating here. Nothing has to be perfect. So yeah, so this is just 3M tape, but we do have our Stampin' Up! Masking paper that you can get. There's 12 sheets of it, so you could just cut strips of it, depending, and then use that as your masking. So that works as well. All right, so we've got our, I wanted to keep the ribbon part not colored, I guess. And then I tried with real red and it wasn't dark enough because, like I said, it doesn't soak into the paper. So I went to the cherry red and I'm gonna, well, I'll show you how it goes. So you'll see you need something to hold, like you don't, your fingers are gonna get red. So actually I'm gonna take a block here, use it as my holder so my hands don't become fully red here. And we're just gonna go. So now if you had time to leave it, or you could use your heat tool and speed up the drying, it will dry, but never quite, I find it's never quite completely, like even on the one I made yesterday or 2 days ago, you can still get color off. So I'll show you an option to make it so that it doesn't get messy. Okay, so like I said, you could sit here and we could heat dry it and hope that it, here, I'll show you on this, let's do this little corner here. And you can see it lightens too as it's drying. So I haven't tried, but I feel like every time you go over it, it just wets it again and smushes around. So it doesn't really, so that's pretty good. It's not too bad if you dry it. Your other option is if you have some alcohol. So I have a designated, this is one of the old water painters. It was the aqua painter. So I keep this one designated for alcohol. And if you just go through, so now it's gonna lighten it, of course. If you wanted to make stripes, you could make stripes. Oh, see, I did this on a smaller piece and it was much easier to keep it uniform. I might need more. And you don't need a lot, so it doesn't totally wet your, no, I might have buggered it up. I thought I could do it because it was a smaller area, but so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go like this and make some diagonal lines. So it looks like it was supposed to be this way. You guys ever fudge stuff that you do? There, so it looks like, and then because of the alcohol, it completely dries. Except for now, it's, yeah, see, I didn't do it on the bigger piece. Let's see what happens if we try not to set it on fire. Okay, you know what? Never mind the alcohol. Yes, it sets it, but it makes a mess. So you can dry it. You can spray it with a fixative or hairspray. But again, you'd have to let it dry afterwards. So like I said, no matter what you choose to do, short of coloring it with blends, which isn't overly nice looking either, it's not totally permanent. And you can still kind of see the brush strokes. So this kind of looks cool too. Depends on the look you're going for. What do you guys think? I'm gonna do the ta-da moment and pull off the, hello Yolande, hi Linda. All right. Oh no, it bled. Okay, really don't use the alcohol, you guys. Bad idea. I was trying to make it so it wasn't so messy for you, but in turn, I made it worse. Okay, yep. No alcohol for this one. It kind of looks like the, is it the Swedish flag? Yeah, so then, let me just pull out, well, I kind of cheated. So I wrapped my card using the, what's it called? White? That's not what it's called. It's called frayed ribbon. I think it's in the annual catalog. And I cut 2 pieces and I snailed it around, oh my gosh, I'm going back in time. The stamping seal, I just put some, stuck it down, and then stuck the two ends down, and I went both ways. And then I was trying to make a bow, and I started making it with paper and the ribbon so that it would all match. But I was trying to do like the crisscrossy bow, and it was getting too stacked. And then I remembered, so this is a cheat. This is an old die cut thing that I have. So this one makes it smaller. This was all one piece. I'll show you. Oh, so the pieces of it are all cut out from here. But you can cut something similar shaped to this. See, I told you, mess everywhere. Looks like I've got blood on here now. To make the bow. So all I did was I used the pearlescent paper and I put it on top. So it would actually, I think, look better if I hadn't wrapped the ribbon and it was just the nice cream pearlescent and the bow. So if you're going to do the bow, if you're going to do the ribbon, I would do the bow like this and then just add, I would use vanilla though, because I used vanilla under here and it matches the pearlescent much better. So use vanilla behind the ribbon like it looks here, and then you can do the same look. For the tag is very simple. I'm just gonna move this out of the way. Don't need more red everywhere, and I'm gonna flip this over because otherwise red is gonna be everywhere, and I'm gonna put the red away. Okay. For the tag, I took the Celebration Tag dies. This is out of our mini catalog, and it has this, it's a folding tag. So all I did was I just want the one piece. So I'll just pull out my mini here. Okay, either you guys are being cool. Oh, jeez. Oh, my comments are not coming up. I'm sorry. I see them now. I have to totally go in and make them come up. I think you guys are pretty quiet for the most part. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just checking if my plates are warped more one way or the other. You kind of want to always flip it so that it's you're not able to push it down. That's how you keep them flat and not all, you'll see some people where they're all curled and horrible. That's how you avoid that. So then, and the other thing to remember with this mini, don't put it on paper, come on. And you don't want to have all your plates stacked evenly, as otherwise it has a hard time feeding in. So here I had the 2 plus the die, so it was like my 3 were stacked. It works much better if you don't stack them evenly. So then obviously I did not use the full size of this. So when you want to adjust the size of things, you can come in, make sure you can see that, and you can actually just decide how big of a tag you want. So all I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm in the grooves here, and maybe just a little bit, and then again just I'm moving everything. Okay, this is getting crazy here. Let's get this. I think it's because I have, let me go this way. I think it's because I have the die, yeah, hanging off. Uh-oh, and now my paper moved with all of that. Okay, so apparently on the mini, you don't want the die hanging off the end because that doesn't work so good. And I moved it again. If you're having troubles, You can always tape it down. I usually use my big one, so that might be why I'm struggling a bit more. And once again, I'm hanging it off. Come on. Okay, there we go. See, as soon as the die isn't hanging off, it goes just fine. Okay. Now we should have a smaller tag, and you can just cut. You can use a trimmer, or you can just cut where the line is. So you have your smaller tag. How do I put the plates, like to feed it in the mini? I just kind of like, you just want to have it so that it's either hanging inside or outside of the edge. And then you want your die, obviously, as you saw, you don't want your die hanging off. So it can hang off this way if you're feeding it that way. You want your die, and then you don't want your other plate exactly even. Like, you don't want to put it through like this, because then it is hard to feed. So like a little bit staggered like this is fine. All 3 staggered works. You just want them a little bit staggered. You don't want them all set like so. Does that answer your question, hopefully? So then I have that, and all I did was I took the Merry Christmas from that same tag dies bundle. It has a stamp set that goes with it, and I don't know where the stamp set is. It's buried somewhere. Usually I have them out, and I forgot. So I just stamped it in Cherry Cobbler. That is very strange. What did I do with the stamp set? Anyways, this Merry Christmas is from the stamp set that goes with the tag dies in the mini catalog. It has like the mitten, which I showed. I did a card with it not too long ago. Anyways, if I find it, I will show it to you. Otherwise, take my word, it's in there. So then you can see it fits better, and then it fits on the card better. And I just tied this on with some gold trim around. I did it after and just put it on. So that's the simple. I made it not so simple. I tried to make it less messy, and I think I made it worse. So anyways, see, I always show you guys what not to do and what to do. So just remember what kind of mess I made and go, oh, I better not do that, and then you'll be good. Okay, so my second card is, it was from the what do you call it? The Days Challenge was called Step Into Christmas. So I decided to use the Snowman Magic. For me, snowman, sledding, anything snow, winter to me screams Christmas. So Step Into Christmas to me, like Christmas starting, or like the feeling of Christmas, is when it first snows. We're covered in snow right now, so it feels very much like Christmas, a little early this year, but that's okay. I'm good with it. I love the snow. So this was the card I had made. Now, I don't know how well I decided. I mean, I made it into a shaker card, but I was kind of sad that I decided to do a shaker card because it really takes away from the shimmer. So today I'm going to do it without the shaker card. If you want to know how to make the shaker card, I have other videos where I show exactly how to do the shaker card, so you can go back and look at that. I'm just going to show you how to make the nice shimmery background of this card and a whole new look to it. I haven't practiced. This is like in my head right now. So again, you might decide to go back to the original. You might decide that this is good. So This set, I actually really wanted it because of this die. It's kind of like a frame of snowflakes, which I thought, oh, it'd be so pretty to have like a family picture to send out to people. Have I tried using the gray plate instead of the white plate? In the mini? Well, I only use the gray plate for embossing. Is it better than using the white plate? Maybe it's a little bit thinner. I haven't tried that. That is something I will have to try. Okay, sorry. I'm behind on my comments. I really have to figure out how to make my iPad keep. Does anyone know on Facebook how to make your comments keep scrolling and stay up? Because otherwise I have to tap my screen and then scroll over, and then they sometimes come up and sometimes they don't. Anyways, I think if I used my laptop, it would work better, but the laptop is bigger and harder to place. Okay, I forgot. There is there's an easier way to do this. So this is the masking paper I was talking about. I cut out the snowflake frame with the masking paper, and the masking paper conveniently has a split in the center, so it's easy to take off. And if you guys have watched me use this paper before, it is not ideal to stick it straight down as it is. You don't have to be super careful about not getting it all unsticky. I would actually suggest, I wish I would have brought a, oh, I do, hang on. Okay, if you're wearing a sweater when you're crafting, it's ideal. I don't have a sweater on today, so I don't have much to pill. I do have this fuzzy cord thing. I'm going to, don't go, I'm going to stick it down. Hopefully this doesn't have too much pilling that it totally unsticks it. But if, oh yeah, that's perfect. You just, like if you have a sweater, you want to put it down 2 or even 3 times just to make it a little less sticky. See, it's still very, very sticky. Because once you really stick it down, and we're going to be rubbing around it and stuff, it makes it much harder to take off if you don't do that first. So, tip of the day, make sure you get some lint on your, see, you can't even, it's not too bad. But yeah, a sweater is ideal. If you've got like a wool sweater on or something that's got some pilling to it, it's perfect. And you know what? I'm going to go this way so I can kind of, I want to have an even border around, and you can tell I didn't put it evenly on the paper. So I'm going to try and get this even. It might not be. I might have to cut some so you can hold it. Oops, I need to come down a little. Oh well. I'm gonna have to cut it afterwards. I should peel it. Too much work. Okay, it still is really sticky. I think I want to go this way for my, you gotta decide which way's up and which way's down before you start, because the way my colors are going. So then you just kind of stick it all down. Oops. See, and it still sticks very well. No problem there. The gray plates. Okay, I am going to try the gray plate. Thank you, Marilyn. Okay, so then my colors I chose, I'm into the blues and purples. So I went with the Starry Sky and Orchid Oasis, which are 2 of the in colors, and Highland Heather. That's for the snowman. We don't need the brown. And then, oh, I forgot to make sure I had the brushes. Okay. So I'm going to start with my lightest first, which is the Highland Heather. And I'm going to start at the top here. I should have checked if it was still had dark on it. So you can see it's just regular ink right now on regular basic white paper. So this one does not have the pearlescent paper. You could use the pearlescent paper to get the same look if you don't have the the powder that I'm about to use. Again, this I can't speak. The powder is from years ago, like when I first started with Stampin' Up. So I would say, well, I've been a demonstrator for 15 years. So probably between 10 and 15 years old is this powder. And it's still perfectly fine. It lasts forever and ever because a little goes a long way. I'm just going to use this a darker blue one for. There isn't a huge difference between the Starry Sky and the Orchid Oasis, I find. So I really have to work to get the darker down here. And then we'll just go back again with the lighter one to try and get more of that. It's a little more purpley, I guess. Okay, so we've got a good color base right now. Then comes the messy fun part. Oh, if I can find it. Okay, so I've got a brush, just a junky paintbrush. I think it was from the kids. I probably could use a better brush. This is the pearlescent powder. So this one is a violet base, so it goes well with my purple. And it's very, very fine. So you don't want to like pour it out. And then I've got a Swiffer cloth to help pick up some of the powder. So I'm just going to dip it in. And you can either just tap it to get it down, or you can kind of, ooh, look at that pearl come out. I love this. I haven't played with this powder in years, and then I don't know, something came up in my feed. Someone had used a different brand, obviously, and different company, but it just made me think, it's like, oh yeah, I have some pearly powders somewhere. And so I went searching for them, and voila, I came up with this. So you can, a little goes a long way, but you can use this brush. It's really bad. It's falling apart as I brush. So, oops. Might want to use a better brush. I'm noticing it's not in the corners here. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, but oh my gosh. So this is why, here, let me hold it up. Show you the shimmer here. It's super shiny. So then you just want to come in, give it a wipe. Kind of takes off your brush marks too, if you've got. So not too much is coming off. And again, if you want it so that your hands don't get messy when you touch it. Obviously, with the way I did the shaker card, I knew that I wasn't going to get messy. You could spray it with a fixative so that it doesn't keep coming off. But I'm pretty, well, see, now my hands are messy, so it's hard to, but it's pretty good once you've wiped it with the Swiffer. Like, unless you're really going in, it's pretty good about not coming off. So here goes the fun parts. You guys have seen me do the masking before when we do other stuff, and I always love the reveal. See how it sticks so hard? I used my wool sweater the last time and it worked so well to take off afterwards because you don't want it to rip. So if you haven't really unstuckify it much, you'll have to just be really careful. There, my snowflake is tearing a little, but that's okay because these are kind of, sometimes if there isn't this delicate, intricate stuff, and I probably actually, since it hasn't really torn, I'll probably be able to use it again. And it'll be a little less sticky the next time, but it actually will stick. I mean, you probably don't want to leave it sitting for days and then try using it, but it does work. Maybe I'll try some different colors later when I'm done. Look at that. As it sticks back down. Okay, come on. There we go. Ta-da! Okay, can you see that? Look at that, nice, shiny, and it's only shiny where the color is. So now, obviously, I want to cut this down to size. So here's my original one. So here I put the frame on top, and I had thought, where's all my pieces and parts now? Losing my mind. Okay. So I did cut out a couple pieces and I glued them together because I thought I might want to pop it up. So this is one option you could put on top instead of the whole window, right? That really gives it some extra pop. But then why did I take the time to kind of make that fancy mask, right? So another option I thought would be to run it through and actually do more snowflakes. I wanted to see if it would make the shine pop even more. So this is a retired winter snow. We do have the snowflake, where is it now? We have this one, the Wintry 3D, but it's a smaller, actually, it would fit if I'm just doing here, but my idea was to do the whole thing, but now that I have to cut it down, actually, maybe I'll use this one. Let's see. I think the snowflakes might be a little too big on this one to get. Actually, that might work really well. All right, let's try that. Okay, I had taken out my big boss, but now, oh, I can't because this is too big unless I cut it down first. I'll use the big one. Okay, we got the big one here. Then we've got our plate, and this is where I use the gray plate, but I haven't. I'm gonna try using the gray on the mini now. You guys say that it's, and then I'm gonna line it up. It's okay that it's on the sides. I like that. I want it so that that big snowflake is kind of centered like that. Okay. Then we're gonna have another ta-da moment to see how that, I haven't done this before, so it's a ta-da for all of us. Ready? Oh my gosh. So pretty. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just like pretty heaven here. right, so now maybe you can help me decide to do, since it kind of does take away, I think if you're doing this masking, I think you would want to just keep the masking and keep the background flat if you weren't doing the masking, and then you're either adding this or, oh yeah, look at that. That's gorgeous. What do you guys think? With the extra or without? I think the extra. I'm thinking. Okay, I won't cut it because I still have another card to do and I don't want to keep you guys here all day. So I'm just gonna speed things up a little here. I did you guys, if you've seen other ones of my videos or you know this, you can use clear embossing powder with any color and turn it into any colored look embossing with the clear powder. So if you use the Versamark, you stamp in your Versamark, then you stamp into your color. It still has the Versamark. Stamp it on your paper, add the clear powder, and the Versamark holds the powder. So then you've got the colored embossed look. So obviously I don't want to cover this beautiful, I might even use a smaller sentiment because I don't want to cover it up. It's so pretty. And then in the other one I had the snowman and the bunny and stuff. So I could still put Mr. Snowman. So he has all the pieces and parts. There's the head and the toque. And oopsie, his arms, a scarf. So, you know, you can go all out. There's a couple different faces that you can do as well. There's with the kind of the flattering clothes. I find this looks more girly and this looks more masculine, but I think it's whatever. You can have a top hat, a bow, you know, whatever. Sky's the limits on that. But honestly, this is the start of the show. I think I'm just going to do this and then a sentiment and leave it like that because, boy, I really, pop up the frame. Yeah, I could. That's what I did in here because I did mask it and I popped it up. But I would have had to, well, I could, we do have the dimension or the foam sheets, so I could cut it out in foam sheet and then put it. But I have two of these glued together, so I don't know if you can see it. It does pop a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I would like it popped up a little, unless I just kind of offset it. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, let's move on. You've got the idea. The whole thing was about the background. Love the powder. But you could do the same thing on the shimmery paper. Just use your 3 colors, blend them, and then let it dry, obviously. Okay, next is this. So this was today's card. Today was Starry Night. And I don't know if it's really Christmassy because Northern Lights, at least here, we don't see them a lot in the wintertime. I feel like last year we had some, and I remember learning, I never realized, but apparently it's pretty rare to see Northern Lights here in Alberta in the wintertime. Apparently it's very easy way up north, like the Arctic, and but here in the wintertime, because of how dark, something to do with the timing of it. Anyways, but the Northern Lights and the mountains and the starry sky to me were Christmas, even though it's not necessarily seen at Christmas here. So I'll show you how to do this background. So this, I used the pearlescent paper. It's not doing it with the powder. I didn't want to use powder again because I know it's not available, so I figured if people didn't have. And this was a total fluke how my mountains actually have texture. I will show you how I did that. It was kind of a fluke that I got the texture, but it's reproducible if you want it. Okay, so I've got, I should probably wipe that. Got my handy dandy Stamparatus here. And then I've got a piece of paper. And I actually put some Stampin' Seal on here to stick my, what's going on? I don't want to use the magnet, to stick my paper down so it doesn't move, because I'm going to have to, oh shoot. I did cut it smaller than I did before. So now it's not going to be lined up right. I'm going to line it up to the top part so that my mountains end up lower. Okay. There. Then I'm going to turn it around so my mountains are there. That works. Okay, and then I'm going to use, I'm not using Memento, I'm using Stays On for this, again, so that it doesn't smudge, and it Stays On is permanent, unlike the Memento. So I'm just going to stamp my mountains. Then I did learn so this, I don't know if it's the Stays On, or I know I had cleaned the stamp because it really wasn't sticky, but now it's like mega sticky, and apparently I didn't even get a good inking here. The bonus of, oh my, it had moved. Shoot. The bonus of the Stamparatus, if it stays in the right spot. Ay, ay, ay. Hang on. I should have made sure it was in the corner before I stamped it. Okay, well, it's a little smudgy, but it'll work. All right, so then I'm just gonna wipe this a little with my wipe so it doesn't make too much of a mess. And then so where's my card? I ended up putting this on top because it didn't work. I had stamped it down, it lifted the ink. I was trying to emboss it, and then I realized because the ink never dries fully, my ink would stick everywhere, so I couldn't emboss it. I went to stamp it right on the card, and it was actually kind of pretty because it pulled off the ink, but not enough to see it. So I could try that again, but I decided I just wanted to stamp it with silver. But if I want to do that, I need to do it now, while my card is dry enough to not have the powder stick to everything. So I would also have to turn my card around. I think, oh, I had it off the paper. Oh my goodness, I'm just changing everything. Okay, I'm not gonna, since I'm not doing it over and over, I'm just gonna take a block here. Let me just clean it off because I had ended up using white. I tried all sorts of stuff, and I don't love the way the sentiment ended up looking on that card, but it was kind of already done at that point, so I had to go with it. So this, oh, the Stays On is sticky. Yeah, the pearlescent paper is awesome. So it doesn't really, I think I'm going to put it up here actually. So I'm just going to wipe this, and I'm going to make sure I have my silver powder here, my Versamark. and you have to be careful with the pearlescent paper because it is slippery. So when you go down with the Versamark, it wants to slide right off the bat. So try and just go straight down and straight up. And then put the powder on. Got most of it off here. Take our handy dandy. If you guys haven't gotten our embossing kit that has this brush, it is awesome. I use it all the time. Okay, so I'm just gonna close this so I don't spill it everywhere. Have you guys ever spilled a jar of embossing powder? I have. Now I close. I close it before I do anything else. And you can see it goes from the powder to the shiny. And then I'm going to do the Northern Lights on top of this. Because I'm just using the ink it can wipe off. I'm actually thinking I should have done the mountains in silver. That would kind of look cool. Maybe next time. All right, so we've got all of our stamping done. Now it's just a matter of getting that Northern Lights look. So we've got, I like this, but I think it would look even nicer with a bit of purple because there are purple tones usually. So I used Granny Apple Green, Bermuda Bay, Native Navy, and I'm going to add in here the Highland Heather, I think. Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape. We'll see. We'll see how it looks. So I'm going to start with the lightest, the green. And I actually found I wanted a bit more control than our big blending brushes. So I pulled out my good old sponge daubers here. And I find that it actually, I don't know if it's because you're rubbing it more, but it does seem to give more color to the paper. So the sponge daubers are a good a good option. My goodness. Okay, so I'm going to use the side just because I don't want a big streak here. And I'm just going to kind of come in. And it can look a bit streaky, and then you can kind of play with it and get it spread out as you wish. I'm not sure how it's going to go over this since I haven't done it this way, but well, I'm here to be your guinea pig. Right? Okay, so just a bit of green. Then I'm going to go with the blue, I think, because then it'll go into the purple and the dark. So here's my Bermuda Bay. And I'm just going to kind of come around the green. Now I did try, I tried to use my alcohol idea with the brush, and that did not work. That was an epic fail. So if you're tempted to try and blend it with the alcohol water painter, I don't recommend that. It did not work well for me. And I'll go around. Don't worry about going, I mean, you don't want to put too much on your mountains, but it doesn't, you can go over it a little bit. Oops, that's a bit more than I wanted. Okay. And you can kind of just keep going. You just kind of want to play. Obviously, I've probably gone way over time. And I did not take out my Highlander. So I don't know about you guys, but I've got all my colors organized here. If I can, this should be Highland Heather, this one. Back when I used to, I really haven't used these a lot since our blending brushes came out. But here I have found a reason. Be careful not to mix the purple with the green. You will get brown. Yeah, some pink. Yeah, I thought about the pink, but I thought maybe this, should I add pink instead of the purple? I just thought the purple might blend into the blue. You guys are scaring me now. What should I do? You know what? Maybe I'll come in with the purple after. I'm going to go to the blue. And I'm just going to actually, oh yeah, I had decided that I liked the look of a little bit of kind of like a highlight around. I had originally done this dark around the mountains, but I like having that lighter kind of glow. In there. So we'll just, yeah, I won't mix the purple with the green. Luckily it's, I don't know how it'll react with the Bermuda Bay. Oof. So much pressure. Okay. Too much of this. It's funny, I can totally hear Aspen groaning and moaning as she's lying on the sofa. It's a rough life being a dog. Can't go too much. I have to leave some room for purple, I guess. I keep realizing it's like, oh, I'm being really quiet. I'm focusing too hard. Doesn't make for very good videoing. Anyways, okay. I won't do the bottom because I just feel like it's going to take way too long. Okay, before I went over it with the blue, but I feel like, okay, I'm going to do a nice, I'm going to lightly swipe it with the blue, and then I will try and add a bit of purple somehow without making brown. Hopefully. Okay, oopsie. Time to add some purple. Where's my, let's wipe that off. Okay. This is the scary part. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of go where the blue is already. Doesn't show too much, but that's probably a good thing. It's just subtle. Better than a brown streak through the I might want to go back with the, oh yeah, this one's got nice. I think I'll have to go back with the blue to darken it up a little. Now that I've got the purple down. Yeah, I think I'll go back with the blue, but you guys get the idea. So now I wanted to show you how, oh, I wonder if I can do it right now. I think I can. So you can tell your mountains kind of get a little colored and washed away and whatever. So what I did was I took, again, this is something that we no longer have, is the Frost White paint. You can use the Whisper White pigment ink. It just won't be shiny. I think if you use the pigment ink, let it dry, you could add Wink Stella afterwards. Or if you don't want that drying time, you could also use the chalk marker and then go in with the Wink Stella to make it shimmer again, because snow shimmers, right? And then I went back and stamped over top. Let's see if I use the chalk marker and the Wink Stella. It might be, so what happened with this is I put the paint on and it was quite globby. I did try to dry most of it, but I was in a rush. So I, when I stamped down my mountains, it pulled up some of the paint. And so that's how it got that kind of textured look, which is kind of cool. I actually quite like it. But since we're on a time limit here, you don't want to watch all day. I'm going to be a little quicker about this. So again, if this was on white paper, this chalk marker would look different. But you don't want ivory colored, vanilla colored snow. Didn't your mom tell you don't eat yellow snow? I guess nobody's eating this snow, but you know what I mean. If you have time to let it dry, if you've gotten ink on like where it is there, if you keep going over it with the chalk marker, eventually you can get it white. If that bothers you, to me it doesn't bother me. It's just kind of the glow. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's really quite matte right now. So let me just give it a quick. And I don't know about you, every time I pull it off these days, the cap part seems to come off with it. So then I'm going to come over. I wonder if I should do this after. You know what? No, I'll do it before. Okay, so we'll add the shimmer to our snow here. I mean, you could just go over the whole mountains, but there's already shimmer in the parts where you didn't add the chalk marker since it's the pearlescent paper. So why waste one Castella if you don't have to? Okay, now it's all shiny. We'll give it another blast to dry it. Now, the only tricky part, I might actually leave it and not do what I did before. So if I had done it properly and made sure, where's my Stamparatus? I lost my Stamparatus. If I had made sure that it was tucked in the corner so that it would, like if I could just shove it in the corner and come down and know that it was going to be right, I would re-stamp it so that you could get the markings of the mountains better. But since I messed this up, I think having a kind of a offset mountain wouldn't look great. So I'm going to not do that step, but know that you can stamp over it if you take the time to line it up ahead of time. And then I'm not sure, so normally you would kind of wipe this with a tissue to shine up your silver embossing, but I'm worried that it might take off too much of the, so you can just try and buff it a little without taking too much off. And then when you want to get it off your paper, you simply twist to avoid tearing it. And then you've got your paper here. Oh, hi Mercy, glad you made it. And then I just stuck it down, so pretend it's finished. And then I just stick it down. So look at this. This is like one of the first cards I've made in a really long time that only has stamping and cut. Like it's all one layer. There isn't an extra piece of paper on here, which is crazy. So that is my Northern Lights version of my Starry Night for day 16. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these cards. I hope you're making cards too. I have had an absolute blast making a card every day. Even if it's like 9 o'clock at night and I haven't gotten it done for the day, I'll just run downstairs and try and come up with something. Hence, sometimes they're simple, like the red gift bow. Sometimes they take me a bit longer, but so much fun. Let me show you again. Move everything out of the way. So, not loving this part of it. Wish I hadn't put that there, but I rushed. I panicked. What can I say? So that's my Starry Night. My finished with a bow and the beautiful Step into Christmas. Those are my 3 cards for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those. I really love these shimmery backgrounds. There's so many more things that you can do with them. I might have to maybe do part 2 at some point. We'll see. So hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week. Don't forget to check out the sale if you haven't already. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.